More music on trendybeats.com.
Tired. I no get salary. 10 years I no see money. Stepmother no care. My daddy they worry. My brothers are hungry. Make I go poly. I go poly, but no ghost class. Daddy, I am sorry. I don't dey do yahoo. I don't dey take banku. Pastor ti wọnú ayé. Mommy just dey pray. Daddy just dey pray for me. Bring it better for me. Me I no go school. Only thing I dey do is to be at you. Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. I want to greet all the fans of Mohbad all over the world, and at the same time I want to say or render my condolences to the family of the bereaved, particularly the father of Mohbad. This is not one only of many occurrences within the country called Nigeria, which is a place as addressed as zoo, where law and order is seen not to be respected. But I want to say that it is high time that please will relax our views, particularly as regards the father of Mohbad. That man is terrified. That man has suffered trauma. Whatever he says at this time, either by mistake, is not in his right sense of mind. And I must say categorically that some mischievous bloggers are trying to at least take his words out of context. They are reading meaning to everything he said, which I don't want to buy. I want to say that all of us cannot be equally intelligent. We are not equally yoked when it comes to intelligence and response to issues of facts. It is important that at no time has Mohbad in his lifetime complained of his father. As a matter of fact, by every of his rendition, he acknowledged his father's role and everything his father did to make sure that he got education, to make sure that he prayed for him and mentored him well. So I don't see where people, what they are saying, where they is coming from. It started from a saying recently from one of the bloggers who censored what Mohbad's father said during one of the interviews, that want to go for a law. He was referring to the fact that he wasn't happy that he never had enough access to his son while he was married. And want to go for a law in Yoruba means that you are not able to think in your right senses, as if something in a mysterious way. That's just the meaning. This is an aphorism in Yoruba that has a lot to do with the pattern way of behavior of a particular person. He was addressing his son. Want to go for a law doesn't mean that they remove his intestine. But he was saying that want to go for a law in the sense that whatever the wives told him is what he bides by. And whatever advice he gives to him, somehow, some way, is swept under the carpet. But some mischievous bloggers didn't take all the part of that interview. They just removed part of it and started saying the Baba is a culprit, so he knew we won't go for law. And they went and hurriedly buried him. And I think as somebody who has sit back to watch event unfold, it will be injustice if so all of us kept quiet and the public is continuously being misled. I must say that from the way and manner Mohbad has presented his father, he presented his father as gold in his lifetime. So, and at no time did he ever raise any question or caution over his father. And we've listened to him talk a couple of times about the personality of his father, being a pastor, being a bricklayer, and despite that, he gathered money to send him to go poly. That stepmother no care. His mother was absent for over 10 years. This was his words. The only thing he was silent about is his family life. Of which some videos also came out, but not directly from him. I mean, not directly through the wordings of his song. So if his father is saying that I want to go for a law, by virtue of the way he rehearsed to whatever advice he gives to him, that is not literally translated to mean that his intestines were removed before he was buried. That would be an injustice to the dead and the family of the deceased, particularly the father. This is somebody who has suffered the brutal effect of broken home, and we must be responsible in the way and manner we address him. And to some of the people who are saying that the father didn't do well or did not do well for him enough, I hope you listen to his full interview. On every attempt he made to even pray on water as a pastor, to go out on his behalf and give him water, probably prayer water, to bath, to drink, to do everything with his life, somehow, some way, because of the way and manner that a musician lives, moving with crowd on entourage, he never had access to his son enough. And sometimes when it comes to his son's house, he never liked the way and manner that the wife normally behaved to him, somehow. And, musicians are not always at home. But the little time he comes around, he was complaining about the conduct of the wife. And that most of the water, of prayer water he brought for him, the wife never allowed him to use it. All of them are there on that video. But because the man might not be, you may not rate him as that intelligent. Somehow, some way, you tends to misjudge him and say all manners of things about him. So for somebody who has said that who is a bricklayer, but still an illiterate, who knows the value of education, to still send him to go school, even in the absence of his mom, speaks volume. Makes attempt to pray for him to make prayer water, and still give to him severally an attempt. And some people are saying that, his properties. The man was more concerned about his properties. Every man will ask about the progress of his son. It's natural. If your father didn't ask, because I listened to the conversation when he was asking, I don't want you to buy a car, I want you to buy land before buying a car. And based on the instruction of his father, he went and buy land. And he informed his father, Daddy, I've bought land. And the father asked, where is that land? And he said that he does not even know where it is because he bought it through his mother. The interview is there. He bought it through the wife and his mother. Some of the things that happen, may we never encounter a difficult situation, so that you will know that it's not easy to grant interview. And not all of us have that restraint to withhold or withdraw back, knowing when fully to talk or not. So it is injustice to the father of Mohbad and to the family of Mohbad for us to continually criticize his father or change everything he says or make every attempt he's making. If he's asking about his son's properties, it doesn't mean he inherited it or he is about to inherit it. You remember when he was asked, the 2 million Davido gave to you, what did you do with it? He said he called one of the person that was closest to his son when he was alive, and he asked Davido to transfer that money to him. And when he has that money to be transferred to him, he asked him, please, the expenses of burial of my son, of his son, should be taken from that money. And after that, please, probably you relay with me on whatever is remaining. And eventually, out of 2 million, The person who caused that money to be managed, who caused the burial to be made, only accounted for 1 million and said that 1 million naira was used as burial. And the Baba didn't fight about it. Rather, there's something called demeanor, conduct that precedes and that precede a particular situation and the aftermath. And at the end of it all, you ask, what of the remaining 1 million? He said, I've used it to carry block, and one of his properties, we are going to use it to fence it. So does that man look like rapacious to you, or like somebody who is a glutton, or somebody who is greedy about the wealth of his child? Look at where he's staying. Look at where he lives. Please be tempered. Please kindly be merciful in your approach, and be responsible in your conduct to that Baba. Not everybody is intelligent, quote and unquote. Not everybody can answer questions accurately. And if people are distorting what he's saying, I think it's quite unfortunate. Where was Mohbad's mother for 10 years? Even in court of law, sometimes when we are asking for custody is always given to the mother because of the emotional, either a male child, especially if they are infants, either a male child or a female child. Custody is always granted to the mother, and that is because of the emotional attachment that mothers naturally have towards their children. So if that is that, where was his mother? In his lyrics, he said mother was absent for 10 years. He didn't even cite him. He didn't ask of him. Neither did he know her whereabouts. And yet you are saying that, oh, the father didn't try. Do you know in this part of the world and everywhere in the world, men are vulnerable. Men are not like women. Women are stronger when it comes to emotions, multitasking, struggling, and trying to at least do what is necessary over children. Women has that capacity. They can endure, they can stay. But men are vulnerable. From the time they start to fend for their family, till the time they are old, men are already vulnerable. It's not good when you start to talk ill of this person's father, when at no time of his lifetime he ever spoke ill of his father. Go and listen. The only person he was silent about was his wife. Though some other separate video came out. But about his father, he never insulted his father. He never said his father never cared about him. He never said his father never... As a matter of fact, he warned his father to stay out of his struggle. He warned that these people can wipe out an entire family. Therefore, stay out of my struggle. That was the one he gave to his father. The father could have shouted. But no. Somehow he's the one that knows them. He's an insider. So if he warned his father, you think his father will be foolish enough to also come out? But he never expected. What he was doing was to pray. Give him water for prayer. Be moving about, praying for him. And yet some people are not so... let us fear God in whatever we are saying. Don't let us be reckless in our comments. It is not fair. Men are already vulnerable. How many men are there on PTA days? How many men are there when actually things that has to do with children are involved? It is only the mother. And that is the way God created mothers. Mothers are fantastic beings. They are the ones that are always there for children. Somehow, some way, father, like one of the song of Dipo Sodi, Say rántí àìsùn ìyá lórí rẹ, rántí bí baba ṣe ń sáré kiri. The father's role is to run NATHA-ALADE and fend for the family, while the mother's role is the emotional support for the family. It's quite unfortunate that some of all those things have been turned around now. That is why we have a lot of vagabonds in the society. The role of mother as a home builder is now being neglected. It's the father that don't run now. So in the process of father running around, he is vulnerable. He doesn't remember anything. How many fathers remember birthday of children? It's still the mothers. So many things that the mothers will naturally remember. It's still the mother. The father cannot, because the father is vulnerable, trying to provide, trying to run NATHA-ALADE and do one or two things. So you expect that father, Mohbad is an adult. He can fend for himself somehow, some way. He might be vulnerable as well. He might be a peaceful person all through his lifestyle. But you cannot blame his vulnerability on his father. His father is an absolutely peaceful man. So also Mohbad when he was alive. So you cannot at any time say that the father was an irresponsible man. And as to the way they hurriedly buried him, may you never encounter problem. You will know that thinking on the spot sometimes might be difficult. It's easy. Ask some people that are just put in the witness boxes in courts. People that were invited by police, and now they easily implicate themselves. That is why even in the Constitution, it is said that you have every right to remain silent. You have every right to allow your lawyer to be present before you render or utter or make any statement to the police. Because as at that moment there is tension. There's tendency that you are going to mislead yourself or say things that will naturally affect you. So may you never encounter problem. If the man, as to the ordinariness of his burial, you never can tell. Maybe it was ordinary or was under compulsion or threat for him to have hurriedly bury him. And sometimes he might just not think in the line. Since the doctor has pronounced him dead, probably in African culture, nobody keeps the death or corpse of a young man. Most likely the day a young man dies is the day they bury him. So being an African valued man and somebody of at least Yoruba extraction, I don't think it's out of proportion. Once the doctor pronounced him dead, that he called his best friend, suit to his burial. We all like to read meaning to what people do sometimes when we are not even better. Please and please temper justice with mercy. Be merciful to Mohbad's father and be sympathetic and empathetic with his loss. May you never encounter such. So I want to say that we need to listen to his full conversation. We need to listen to Mohbad. We need to listen to his full conversation. We need to listen to some of the lyrics of his music. At no time has he ever disparaged his father. His father was one of his best when he was alive. He make moves to see him, and now based on the father's complaints, whenever he's coming to see him, a lot of people are always around him. That it's always difficult to even talk to him. So if he was asking, where is the property of this person, or where is your property? And he said that, oh, I didn't even know. It is part of the priority of a father to want to see the achievement of his son. And particularly when you are apprehensive of the kind of wife your son has. It is not out of proportion to ask questions. And if you are saying he was fighting, he was never fighting. He was making some comments that, oh, this property were all bought in the name of the wife and the step and the mother of the wife. If he's saying that, it's not out of proportion to caution the son, or probably to grant interview based on that. As nowhere is he demanding that they should give him those properties. I've not seen any of the videos. So if he is too much to ask questions based on the son's achievements while alive and the suspicious reason why he felt he was killed, then somehow, some way, I think maybe some of the people who are commenting are not reasonable enough to probably deduce the facts or deduct the basis upon which those interviews were granted. So please, men are already vulnerable. Coming to this world, especially Africa, as a man, makes you vulnerable. How many old men can fight for themselves? How many old men, even as husband? How many things can you do for yourself without the wife? That shows the importance of women. They can bear burden, they can do a lot outside the men. So please, be empathetic and be responsible when you are judging somebody else, especially who has just suffered the loss. May the soul of Mohbad rest in perfect peace. God bless us all.